Not speaking.
Okay. You're all welcome, members. We are now live. You're welcome to this session. Today we are concluding our training, which started 2 weeks ago. And today we are going to be wrapping up. We are having this session now, and then after that, we shall be having another session at 5, which will be the closing session. Yeah, so we want to welcome each and everyone who has joined us for this time and has been joining us for the 2 weeks which we have spent on this particular training. Now today we are going to put the entire puzzle together. We are going to be looking at the challenges and strategies as we prepare to start lessons at our schools. The teachers here, you have been introduced to a lot of tools that we have been looking at during this training. The technical things, the Zoom, the presentations, the videos, the Google collaboration tools, the social media and the mobile devices, the Google Classroom, the Colibri. We have looked at a lot of technologies technically, but now we want to look at the administrative part also. How do we manage this? Whereas you may be knowing the technology, you may still fail to run and sustain e-learning in the schools. Now, we are going to first spend a few minutes, around 5 minutes only, to identify. We are going to identify the challenges associated with conducting online classes. As a school, what are the challenges? We want you to bring these challenges forward. Then we are going to be coming back. We have a number of teachers here who are conducting lessons. We have one who is an administrator who is running these lessons. We are going to be coming back and getting more of the strategies and harmonizing all our thoughts. We do this because we want you to be involved. We don't want you to just be coming passively to these sessions. We want you to come and you get a chance to share in these sessions. So that is what we have planned here for us to start this particular session in that way. Okay, so we are going to have only 5 groups. Let me make them 4 groups so that they are, let me make them 4 groups. We are going to have only 4 groups. So what you were born in a year which is odd, you either choose a 2 or a 4. Odd, you choose a 1 or a 3. If you are born in a year which is even, you choose a 2 or a 3. If you fail to choose, I'm going to assign you automatically. So you join a room, and I want you to quickly, your teachers, you quickly identify someone. I'll be hopping into the rooms as well, and you start the discussion. As leaders, we are teachers, we are leaders, but also my members here from ITAU, you and other facilitators in the room you can be able to guide the discussion. We have very few minutes to raise, and then we come back, we shall put all those challenges together, and then we shall find a medicine to all those challenges together. So click, there's a button there. You'll see something seen as Breakout Sessions on your phone. You'll see something called Breakout Sessions here, a button at the top. So you touch it and then you join one of the rooms at random, any room that you wish to be in. I didn't want to spend a lot of time opening rooms. Make sure that you raise points very fast. Okay, so let us go into the Breakout Sessions now and come back. And we harmonize. Okay, you should be able to share a screen. You should be able to discuss. Choose a room when you come in. You choose a room and you discuss. You raise some of the challenges associated with running online lessons. Okay, let me be listening to some of the groups.
Those are some of that is true. Teacher Oswald, could you mute your microphone? We're having a lot of feedback. Thank you, Winnie, for sharing. I think you can put down your hand so that I'm sure I'm picking the next person who has not spoken. Catherine, come in.
Okay, thank you very much. One of the things also is the knowledge of how to use the device itself. Maybe I would put it as ICT knowledge, you know, how you get this, where you get one of it. Given the fact that ICT has just been introduced to schools, and you know, so it is also a challenge.
Okay. Among the students or among the teachers?
And the teachers as well.
I'm quick to learn, but that's valid because not all of them. So that is true. Do you have something else you're adding?
No.
All right, thank you so much, Catherine, for sharing. You can mute your microphone.
Right.
Nasanga Sandra. Can I give us the details also? Because I'm
Recording in progress.
Okay, we are coming back now. We are coming back to this particular, after the discussion. I hope you managed to raise some points. I was moving around the rooms, and I was seeing the people who were leading. I don't know whether I picked the right people, but these are the people that I saw who were leading the discussions there. So I'm going to request them to quickly tell us some of these challenges that the members have raised. I saw in one room a member used the slides. I think that was the teacher leaders, and used the slides. So maybe he will share the slides at that point. Members, if your camera is okay, you can switch on your camera so that we see you, and we make this lively. Okay, let me start with the room number one. Mr. Morut, what are some of the challenges members have raised?
Yeah, good afternoon, members on this platform all. The members gave us some of the challenges, like a member pointed out a challenge of gadgets, lack of strong gadgets, which could facilitate the e-learning process. Where one member actually gave us her experience, where she said one time she had to borrow a better device, a better smartphone with a better RAM and better storage, which could facilitate the e-learning process. And then another challenge could be electric blackouts, which randomly happen in different areas. And as you all understand, for e-learning to take place, we need a stable power source. So probably if a school is planning to run online classes, it is advisable that the school should have a standby generator just in case there is a power blackout. The other one was a member pointed out an experience where he could have a class and then learners from different classes could join in randomly. So he could be having a class mainly for maybe P4, but he could have even learners from other classes joining in. So that makes it so difficult for a teacher to be able to assess and evaluate learners since they are from different classes. So those are some of the points that we are able to.
Thank you very much. Room number 2, Mr. Wamono Michael.
Yes, Mr. Rogers, thank you for this opportunity. Now in room number 2, we gave an opportunity to all members to raise up their points on how they can go over the issue of online classes. Now, some of them, they raised the point of lack of data as a challenge to the parents and the learners as a very big challenge. And then also they pointed out to the skills in handling online classes that very many learners and our parents out there, they don't have the skills in handling these online classes. So we have been seeing, at least in these sessions, how we can handle now the online classes, and I've been encouraging our teachers to go out there and share the skills. And then another point still was on lack of digital material by the teachers. Some of them, they are lacking digital materials on how they can start handling the online classes. So I encourage them still to start creating the digital material, because at least we have been seeing how to create the digital materials to be used in our online classes, because this will help us very much. As yesterday we are talking of Colibri, Google Drive, so they can start creating their material and they store them on those platforms. And then another point was still mentioned by Mr. Emlut was the lack of the gadgets by our parents and our learners out there. They lack smartphones on how they handle these classes. So it was a big challenge still. And then the power problem still from different areas. And then lastly, the network challenge. So here we could use at least alternative lines. And then if you're using maybe MTN and the network is disturbing, you can switch to another line to overcome the challenge of the network. Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wamono Michael. Okay, let us get another room. If the room has already mentioned the point, you don't repeat it. Let us hear from Teacher Didas. Teacher Didas, can you share your screen?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rogers. For our number 3, we had the challenges, as you can all see there. One of the main lessons may be at 1 p.m. You find learners, they are joining in, they just join the room when so they begin to disturb the teacher. Teacher, we have missed is a challenge, and the teacher cannot control it since they are very far. Also, they have talked about interference or noise from the background. As you know, most of our parents we are dealing with, they are not the first class parents. They are living in ghetto areas whereby you'll be sitting in the room inside when actually outside they don't.
Okay, Teacher Didas. I think Teacher Didas has broken off a bit.
Am I on now?
Yes.
Okay. And then also we cannot take away the factor of negative attitude towards online learning by both the parents and learners. So also it has been identified as one of the challenges that some parents have that negative attitude that learners will not understand, even as the teachers. So it is also there as a challenge. Then other points have been noted down, maybe poor network coverage. Also, it can be a challenge also. So some of them have already been mentioned by the members, so I will not repeat them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Teacher Didas. You can stop sharing. Okay, so members, let us, I think, was that the last group or we have another one?
We have another group.
Okay. Let us hear from room number, this was room number 3. I have just done a print screen of what teacher did us this screen. I never typed it, so I just put there some print screen. Other points, we shall note them. Okay, so let us hear from Mr. Larry. Room number 4.
Okay, Rogers, can I share for him?
Mr. Jalfo, you are coming in your session.
No, I was recording for him.
Hey,
he was the one.
Yes.
He was the one recording. I was the one watching.
Okay, you go ahead and share.
But I think most of the points have been mentioned already, if I'm not mistaken. Because if you look at things like failure of devices to function during sessions, most of those have been mentioned. Connectivity issues, students' attention during lessons. I think that is a key one, that students are passive during lessons. And I think I can confirm this even during our normal lessons. You are delivering, a student's hand is up, you pick the person and they take long. And then they come later on, they can give an excuse. A person can say, my network is off, and you will not be able to do anything. So I think those are some of the things. The students are becoming more stubborn. Maybe if you know your students, you can be able to tell them. Other students intentionally rename their gadgets after even you that, so that is an issue. I think the issue of data was also hinted on. Data bundles cost a lot, especially with the new taxation rates that have already gone up. Even the people who were selling to us cheap data have at least increased either 2,000 or something more to it. So that is yet another issue. The ICT competence of teachers and learners, I think majorly on the teachers. Learners are quick, but also there are learners in the rural areas who have never touched a smartphone. So this program seems to be only serving the urban centers, or those semi-urban centers of people with network. Schools in rural setting with no access to phones and poor network are also being left out. Those are good. Software availability. I think most of them have been repeated, so I've just expounded on that few. Discipline on time management. This has been a very big one. Even me, I've faced this. Kids come in and then they tell you, we have not understood. Then you ask him, when did you come in? Just right now. And they have not already understood. And they go to the chat session and begin causing a lot of commotion that side. So I think it's something to watch out.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Njali, can first stop sharing. Oh, yeah, so members, thank you very much for those points. You see, if we are to talk about challenges, we can talk the whole day. And but members, I want you to look at the participants list. We have a lot of co-hosts during this session. All these co-hosts are teachers who are part of the Edify e-classes pilot program. They have been meeting these challenges, but they have been withstanding them. And I'm going to be asking some few of them to give us some tips on some of these. Then finally, Ms. Angela is going to be crowning it on. Yeah, so I'm going to give only around 10 minutes only, then the rest of the time, Ms. Angela is going to come and complete everything. So you can put up a hand if you have a tip on any of those challenges that we have raised. What do you think we can do? Which tips do you have for teachers here who are planning to start lessons and how we can handle some of these challenges. Yeah, so okay. Mr. Mkisa has already put up his hand. Mr. Mkisa, yeah, let us just use a few minutes and then Mr. Mkisa, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers. The biggest problem before we go to others is the one of creating content. The skills we have acquired here, someone can be able to create, at least to start creating. The other problem we have been having is that someone wants to learn when maybe Mr. Rogers is speaking and he learns what Rogers has been able to learn for the past years. So we are going to learn some other skills by practice. In IT, because of softwares, they keep updating and updating. All of us, we have to keep updating our skills. Don't say, I went and joined the training by Edify, that's all. You have just started. Some of us, we know, but when we come into these trainings, we are learning more. So keep learning. When you say link someone, they are training somewhere, go there. So don't just say what I learned is enough. Use the Google search. Learn a skill a day. That's what I do myself. Learn a new skill a day. It is continuous. These things don't monetize it so much. That's why if I did it for free. Share a skill with someone, you are going to learn more. When you get an opportunity to get money, thank God. But first, share the skills and you learn more. You get people will know you and they will start giving you what to do.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Let us hear from Teacher Robina.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I heard some of the challenges about the gadgets.
Are you able to put on your
but
video
by
camera?
now, hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. Okay. Hope you can see me.
Yes, can go ahead.
Of this project has been a laptop, but the battery was poor. But I've had some of the things I needed by now. I have a new battery in my laptop, and I also acquired some earphones to help me because in the beginning the learners could not hear me. So I think we also need to work on acquiring the gadgets that we need because this is the new normal. Actually, most of the things are going to be via internet and so on. So that's one of the way I've overcome some of the challenges. There are many other challenges, but let me just talk about that one for now.
Yeah,
thank you.
Teacher Robina, you handle the nursery, the young kids, the nursery kids, and I normally see, do you use that phone you put it somewhere on a stand, then I don't know, do you get someone to cover you because you want to be on the blackboard, on the demonstrate? How do you handle that?
Okay. Okay, before I joined Zoom lesson for some trainer, and those were quite in control because I'm only two and I had acquired a stand. So I was using a stand. So I have a stand that I use, like I said, you need to acquire some of these things that make your so I acquired a stand, I acquired so I acquired some of the gadgets that I need because I know this is not going to stop here, it's going to continue. So I've made sure whatever I can acquire, I acquire. So that's how I've been managing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Teacher Robina. Okay, let us hear from Teacher Joel Maluma.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers. Allow me to take this opportunity to greet all the teachers and other members who have joined in the name of Jesus Christ. I want to talk about one challenge that I have faced within this week, and that's the challenge of power. I have taken like 3 days without power, and please allow me to pass my sincere appreciations to Mr. Wamono Michael, my admin, together with the team. Really, they have helped me so much. I was teaching and then power went off. Of course, I use a desktop and I couldn't continue, but in case it happens to you, teacher, there, this is what you have to do. For me, I always have my phone aside as another alternative. So immediately power goes off, I switch to my phone. Then this work, I save it also onto my phone. So I just get to screen share and start using my phone. So this is a skill that I learned in the teacher training, which is conducted by Edify, actually, what we are doing just now. So I learned this from there. Next time, I believe I can't fail to present my lesson because these 3 days have really taught me a lot. Thank you so much, the team, together with all the teachers.
Okay, let us hear from teacher Daniel Alira. Daniel Alira.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, I'm so happy with this program, and I believe our teachers out there are going to borrow a leaf from here. Trust me, it is so interesting, I'm telling you. Actually, I enjoy it more than even the classroom. Why? As I'm giving learners, I'm also gaining a lot of things. I want to handle the issue of internet. Our friends out there said that they are getting challenges with internet. True. But me, at first, I was also getting this challenge, but I found a solution. I bought my MiFi, I bought my Wi-Fi internet, and every month I only subscribe 100,000. 100,000 unlimited data, I use it the way I want, the whole day. And also, in case of any power breakout, like, Wi-Fi does not, it uses only power. I make sure I also have some Airtel data and MTN data aside with a small MiFi. So in case power is off, I can't continue with the other one or Wi-Fi. I change my line into my MiFi. I connect. I continue using it without any problem. Please, it can work for us.
Teacher Daniel.
Yes, please.
How much data do you, on average, do you spend on Airtel and MTN? Just give us, I don't know.
Like in a lesson, I spend less than 200. In one lesson, 1 hour, I spend less than 200 MBs. Even when I have over 250 learners. Okay. So yeah, I can use 500 shillings for a lesson.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure. I'm very sure of that.
Some of our phones, they overdrink. Sometimes I load 1 GB, 2 GB, and it gets over before the Zoom. Even I'm fearing now I might go. And that means be ready. In case I black out, you just proceed. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. And now, members, we don't have much time. I'm going to get on the 2 members now, Mr. Mugumia Oswald and Teacher Solomon, and then Mr. Luanga comes in and he wraps up everything. Let us be brief, just 1 minute. Teacher Oswald.
Yeah, good afternoon, colleagues. I'm unable to put on my camera because I don't want to offend anyone. I'm in a butcher of pork.
Okay.
So
that is okay.
My problems were, especially if we don't prepare well before the lesson. What I've seen is that with the Zoom lessons, we have to prepare well, especially with the devices. You need to first check them out. There was a moment when my computer updated itself without my authority, and it had to update for a long time. So I had to try my best to make sure that I get other devices. And I kept on trying. I first tried a phone, then one phone refused to share the screen. It just went off. So I had to try another phone, which worked out. And I had to send my work to my administrator so that in case I happen to go off, then he can come in. And it really worked out. It worked out and it was a success. So let's always prepare in advance. Let's prepare our work, we test our devices. Let's not take things for granted that it has to work.
Okay.
Every one of us, I think in the house, there is that hotspot. There is that place in the corner where you sit and the network is okay. So that is my submission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
The members who
just
have
one
been
thing small. Like I said during our Zoom training, whenever you're the host, add your laptop and add at least your phone as a co-host. In case you go off, your phone remains as the host. So that means the live stream continues. That is in case you have a paid account. And also your recording remains undisturbed. But if you use only the phone and you don't add another as co-host, when you go off, sometimes even the meeting can end. So it is very, very important to have yourself as a co-host.
Okay, thank you very much. So actually what Moses is saying there, right now, I'm having my phone also as a co-host here. So, and this one is on MTN, this one is on Airtel. But then it becomes pretty tricky. Sometimes you may need another person to support us. Just like in cases where you are doing work, like in the case of teacher Robina there, she really needs an admin. Now, Mr. Luanga, please share your screen and share with us. These teachers have been sharing at teacher level. What about administratively in general? Which advice do we give the school administrators and all other stakeholders when they are planning to start e-learning? Yeah, so I know you had your presentation was supposed to take like 20 minutes. We have only 15, but try to see how you can cover this. Mr. Angela, over to you. Okay, Ms. Angela.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Amin, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Rogers, for that. I think some of my work has been reduced to nothing. So let us go and prepare. Look at how we can prepare for online classes. First and foremost, I would like to thank Edify, our partner with ITAU. ITAU is ICT Teachers Association of Uganda. They came in together with Edify to make sure that this training takes place for the teachers as well as for the learners. And then also the Catholic School Owners Association that make sure that they gather the learners from different schools, the parents from different schools, so that these classes can take place. We are going to look at the strategies and solutions, some challenges that we are facing. So I'll start by giving us an introduction. We know we are in the lockdown as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The president requested us teachers to make sure that we get vaccinated. Someone's
members.
I think someone has connected two devices and is in the same place.
It's okay. I think we should mute. Miss Angela, you were sharing, you share again, you share the slideshow. I think you were sharing a different. Are you sharing the PowerPoint or the slideshow?
Rogers, is my presentation visible? Sorry.
Yeah, what we are seeing is the.
What you're seeing is?
We are seeing the not the full screen mode, but the other normal.
Yes, don't worry, I'm going to that.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay, hold on, I'm coming back.
There is some trick, wait, was it teacher did us or someone who was sharing us?
Oh.
He goes to slideshow and then he right clicks and then says, but this is WPS office. Mm.
Yeah, that is very true.
Mm. He goes to slideshow and then he right clicks and goes to the short task, something like short task bar.
I have very many things open, so I have to first close them.
Yeah. There's actually some trick there sometimes when you're sharing. PowerPoint normally, it has that PowerPoint slideshow mode and then this other normal minimized mode. So when you're sharing Zoom, it shows you both windows. If you have, it requires first go to slideshow and then you switch to Zoom and then you select the slideshow.
Let me first open my thing and then I get back to the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah. I had very many screens open at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, so meanwhile, as you share, I'm looking here at the chat. Moses was sharing about the some of the challenges they noted in their group, including parents not being able to meet the requirements for the lessons. Yeah, so the issue of the parents has to be, the parents need to appreciate with time, but it requires you to start. Yeah, now it's fine now, Mr. Angeles, now okay. Okay.
Don't doubt the background where. So we are back to, I was trying to thank those 3 organizations for sponsoring us and helping us to achieve our learning. We are going to look at strategies and solutions to our online learning and the preparation of classes. I had started off with that introduction where the head of state requested us to vaccinate ourselves, and therefore I'm requesting members here to go and get vaccinated so that schools can be open. In Learning, 7 speaks out on reopening of schools, and further says that if we are to start, we have to make sure that majority of the people are vaccinated. Therefore, learners are in boarding and day schools. So if a learner is in a day school, gets back home and is vaccinated, and the parents are vaccinated, that means he will not contract the virus. So further call to all of us to see that we get vaccinated so that our schools can open. We have looked at a number of learning tools in your training from the time you started 2nd of August up to today. We have discussed a number of learning tools. The facilitators have taken you through a number of learning tools using desktops, using smartphones and other handheld devices. And we know that learning is the way to go in this pandemic. So there is nothing that we have to do. We have to embrace the e-learning. So how do you plan and implement at the different levels? One, we have to ask ourselves, what is the purpose? Why are we doing this? So learners are at school, at home, they are losing time. We are being asked the environments. Learning can take place 24/7, that is 24 hours, 7 days a week. A learner can access this learning at their own pace. Flexible scheduling of learning content as well as lessons. It can be done in any location as long as there is an internet connection. We have seen some of the challenges as internet connection, but we need to find ways of how we can go around that. And there are many devices that you can use, mobile phones, computers, tablets, etc. And then even monitoring of learners can be easy at any one time if you have the necessary gadgets, tools, resources to use for that purpose. There are some case studies that you can look at. In your free time, I will ask you to look for some of these case studies. One of them is the Edify classes pilot program. Those of you who managed to attend those classes, you saw what was taking place. There's another school called Gombe Education Services. It has an online school. Dream Africa Schools is a primary school. It has a primary school setting, a nursery school setting. It's spread across many towns and districts in the country. The Yaka Digital Network online educations came together, and they are also delivering learning content in as many subjects as possible, cutting across primary and secondary. Global Junior School, a school in Mukono, also has Zoom classes. Our Lady of Africa schools, Mukono, they have nursery, secondary classes going on. St. Joseph Secondary School, Nagarama. There is Gayaza High School. Gayaza High School is one of the schools that initiated the e-learning. I think its e-learning platform was the first to be created in Uganda. And other e-learning platforms have also continued to grow up. So those are some of the case studies that you can check out by just typing the name of that school, and then you'll get to the e-learning platforms. I'm not saying that those are the only ones. Many schools are now having as many e-learning platforms as possible. Of course, we have to look at Who are we preparing these lessons for? Who is the target audience? Who is going to benefit from the e-learning project? Of course, first of all, they are our learners, nursery, primary, and secondary schools, because those are the ones that are on lockdown. And then the parents have to support the learners by providing the necessary resources, the phones, the data, the airtime for these learners to achieve learning. And then in so doing, try to study the following: your audience's technical ability. Do they know how to use Zoom? Do they know how to use the phone? Do they know how to use the computers? What have they covered so far? Where are you starting from? And then, how are they going to use the knowledge you're giving them, either after the lessons or during the lesson or before the lesson? So we have to look at as many scenarios as possible when we are dealing with our audience. We have to look at the stakeholders and their roles. Who is going to implement, who is going to help us in the implementation process? First and foremost, we have the school owners and the directors. What is the role of the owners? What is the role of the directors? These partners about the online lessons. They have to identify and support the teachers who are going to take part in this learning. So call on the teachers, call on all the resources that you need in order to carry out the online classes. So besides the school owners and the directors, we have the parents. Of course, we have to get the learners from the parents. So the parents have to enroll the learners into the online program first. The parents have to provide the data. The parents have to provide the phones, the tablets, the computers for the learners. And then the same parents have to support the sustainability of the program by paying some fees. If they can pay a small amount of fee, which has been agreed between the so that the program can take place, move on. First of all, we need to invite the teachers to come and take part in this training. We need to train the teachers if they are not conversant with the technologies that are going to be used. Good enough for the 2 weeks you've been going through Zoom, you've been going through Google Classroom, you've been going through screen recording softwares, and you have gained all this knowledge. So likewise, when you go back to your schools, the directors, the head teachers, please recruit the teachers, teach them the technology that they're supposed to learn. Then the teachers are also supposed to prepare the slides, deliver the slides to the learners, and then we need to assess the learners. So are we assessing? What type of assessment should we organize? Do we want exams? Do we want assignments? Do we want quizzes? Because we have to find out whether learning is taking place. And then finally, we have the learners who are our real target audience. They have to attend the lessons as per the timetable that you have decided to give them. They have to attempt the exercises and submit the assignments. And then also they have to utilize the digital content besides the lessons that have been created by the teachers for self-study as well as revision. So as the teachers are preparing the lessons, they are also supposed to prepare extra work for these learners to attempt after the lesson. So what resources do we need? I don't need to go through all these resources because you've gone through these resources in your training. The laptops, the smartphones, the connectivity, the internet connectivity, Zoom, licenses. We were told you need a YouTube channel if you're going to stream your content on YouTube, and it stays there for vision purposes. There is PowerPoint. You can create your documents and then transform them into PDFs so that they can be quickly picked and shared amongst learners. You have WPS Office, which can do as many things: Word, presentation, spreadsheets. You have to decide, are we going to record this lesson as it is taking place, or are we going to deliver it via Zoom? So you have that option. Are you going to send tutorials for learners to listen to at the end of the lesson so that they further gain more knowledge? Are you planning to create a website where you are depositing your work? So all those are the resources that you need, and many more. There are very many more resources which I have not listed there that you need for purposes of online resources. One person mentioned in one room the software and the availability of the software. So we need to know where to pick the software, the necessary software that we need to use, and what is appropriate. So choose your technology well. In choosing your technology, we have to identify the technologies that we have to use, which have been shown in the previous slide. But as you're choosing your technology, ask yourself, how many people will be accessing the class at one time? How many people on average am I planning for? What is the maximum I expect? So here in our online classes, we started by thinking of around 100 participants. After 1 week, the 100 participants, the license for 100 participants wasn't enough. So we had to move on and purchase a license that would accommodate 300 and more. So you have to plan all that in advance. Do you have the hardware? Do you have the servers? Do you have the computers? How do you plan to implement that technology all combined? Will the learning be accessed on the school devices? Are the learners going to be away? As of now, the learners are not in school, but at any one time, you might, when you return to school, you might think about carrying out some of these classes as well online when the learners are at school. So as of now, the learners are at home. That means they will be using their own devices. So we have to look at all the scenarios that are there. Do we have the required applications? Do we have the required software? Do we have the Zoom? Do we have the PowerPoint? Do we have the WPS Office? Do we have the PDFs? Do we have the screen recorders that can help us to do our work? How much data do you need to run the online classes? That is what I'm talking about in as far as enough bandwidth. Do you have enough as a school to run the online classes? There's one thing I want to mention here. Don't load small bundles on your phone. The moment you load small bundles, you will get a problem of not being audible enough, device connectivity going off, etc. Make sure you have enough bandwidth to run you for the number of online classes that need. What is your plan for etc? So we need to find a way of storing our work properly. We need to have a laptop. Who is going to maintain that desktop? We have to think about that. And then what support system will you offer the end support them after a learning session has taken place? So we need to think about all these options as the plan school administration that's in time
Okay, members, Mr. Angela has gone off a bit. Yeah, but we are actually, he was almost concluding on what he was teaching. Yeah, so one of the things, whatever happens for a reason, and I'm going to be asking Mr. Angela when he comes back to just speak the rest of the things as I share here. So just like any other lesson, you should always have a backup plan. In case the presenter, Mr. Angela shared with me his presentation here. He shared it with me. So you should always have an admin who will be there to share your slide in case you go off. Yeah, so I can still be able to continue engaging you as Mr. Angela comes back. Mr. Angela, are you back? Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm back.
You had broken off. You just continue. And then
okay,
I just
fine. Go to the next slide.
Yeah, this is a teaching aid now, in case you break off.
Okay. Then next we have to look at the timetabling. So that is a sample timetable that we created here in the Edify schools, and you can see how many sessions will you be able to handle, 9, 11, 2 or 4. It depends on how many lessons you're going to. How many Zoom licenses have you purchased? How many lessons can you run at any one particular time per Zoom license? So you look at the levels that you have. If you are in P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, you have to decide how many lessons can run at a time. Senior 1, Senior 2, Senior 3, 4, 5, 6, same thing. You apportion your timetable appropriately so that at least in a single week, at least a lesson has been attempted at any one time. Let us move to the next. Then we have the budgetary aspects. We have to plan for the Zoom licenses. How many do we need? We have to plan for the weekly data or monthly data for the teachers. We have to look for data and airtime for the admins and then the technical team. We have to look at teachers' facilitation for lesson preparation and delivery. Technical team who are going to support the Zoom sessions, who are going to train the teachers, etc. And then other administrative costs, so like the bulk SMSs, the reminders, the communications, etc. We have to think about all those budgetary aspects. I may have left something out here, but you have to think, you have to plan for whatever you need. Do we have the necessary hardware? You think about all that. Move to the next. How are we able, or how can we sustain our programs? We encourage our parents to support through donations. If some can donate airtime, if some can fundraise for the school, or through payment of fees, a small fee that you can ask from the parents so that learning can take place. Then about the Zoom licenses, there is a partner organization called RENU, and this partner organization is trying to support schools and other institutions that want to acquire free Zoom licenses, as well as zero rate the platforms, e-learning platforms for a school. Meaning you can access internet on your platform at no cost. At present moment, it is very easy to do that on MTN lines, and for Airtel and Africell and other networks, they are trying to negotiate. But at least as of today, with the MTN lines, it is free. Then you can introduce season exams at a cost. You can package your work into workbooks, DVDs, and give to the learners at a fee so that you can sustain the data bundles, the facilitation for the teachers, etc. We can move on. So here we are putting up everything in action, putting in place the resources that we need, the laptops, the Zoom licenses, the furniture, the classes, constitute a team that is going to run the classes, give roles to each and every individual. The administrators give them their roles, the supervisors give them their roles, sensitize the teachers on what is required in as far as online learning is concerned. When do you want to start? How do you want to run the program? Train the teachers at each level, primary, secondary, nursery, so that they can handle the technology. We continue, sir. We develop a timetable. We ask the teachers to create a scheme of work. Let the teachers develop the content to be delivered to the learners. As a school, communicate to the parents. You can use a number of means. You have phone contacts in the school database. You can pick them out, use those ones. You can organize a parents meeting using Zoom. You can as well create WhatsApp groups and then communicate with the parents and the learners via the WhatsApp groups. We continue, sir. Then when everything is ready, launch the lessons on a day that you have communicated to the parents. Make sure there is someone to supervise and monitor the lesson delivery. If you have your dose, let your dose. If he knows how to go around the classes, let the dose go through the classes, one after the other. In case you don't have very many Zoom sessions going on, you can move from one class to another. There are many challenges that come up during these Zoom lessons. Address the challenges as teachers and learners. Either you can have daily meetings or weekly meetings between your teachers and the administrators and the supervisors. Encourage your teachers to create more self-study material. And then finally, think of assessing the learners through the Google Classrooms. We can continue, sir. So, some of the challenges we faced and how did we solve those challenges in the Edify online classes? Large number of learners in the lower classes, mainly in the lower classes, P1, nursery, P1, P2, P3, P4, up to P6. Senior 1, Senior 2, there weren't very many, up to senior 6, but in the lower section, the primary. And then class control became a problem. Every person wants to speak. Every person wants to be picked by the teacher. So the admins, our admins, had to make sure that we mute all the learners, and then we give chance to a few who raise their hands so that they can speak. And after speaking, they are unmuted, and then another group is muted. So it's not an easy task. That means that when the teacher is delivering a lesson, there must be someone who is helping to mute and unmute, or two people doing the same thing. So there's an admin who runs the Zoom license. There's the teacher who is teaching. Also have another person, say around 3 people, to administer the class so that everything goes well. We have talked of connectivity issues, power disturbances. Those ones have been mentioned. And as a way of backing up, make sure that the teacher has sent a presentation to the admin or to the host, so that in any case anything happens, like what has happened, the power goes off or you lose connectivity, learning can continue and it takes place. And many of that means take care of the learners once the teacher has gone off. Rogers, continue. There's that issue of data depletion, your data running out during a Zoom session, when you're streaming YouTube videos. Actually, when you're streaming YouTube videos, you can find your data moving as fast as possible, but sometimes stop some of these activities that take place on the computer so that the computer concentrates on just dedicating data to the Zoom session. Examples are disabling the Windows updates, etc. And then some teachers have challenges with using these learning tools. So as earlier said or mentioned, let us have the teachers trained in how to use the devices, the gadgets, how to use the software, so that learning can take place. So here we were meeting on a daily basis. We had TOT sessions with the teachers, with the admins, the supervisors, and then we had to discuss what didn't go on well, what disturbed you. Sometimes we extend phone calls to guide them during their sessions. There are many ways you can support each other at any one time. And then subject selection. Are you starting with all the subjects, or do you want to only start with the core subjects? You will notice that that is a challenge. Learners want to learn all their subjects at a go. Do you have the capacity to accommodate those number of teachers and all the learners within a scheduled timetable? If you have the capacity, you are free to put up all the subjects, but if not, start with the core subjects as you're adding other subjects slowly by slowly. So I think those were a few points that I had to talk about in this presentation, and I would like to thank you for listening to me. Back to the host, Moses. Is it Moses? Moses?
Yes, Charles, I can hear you.
Yes, I believe I'm through with what I was presenting.
Okay. All right, so at this juncture, I want to welcome a few questions for Mr. Charles, and then we shall call it a day. Our time is fast spent, so I only take 2 questions. Okay, I guess we have no questions. So let me welcome Mr. Maluma. Are you online? Oh, Opure
Yes,
says
please,
something.
Yes, please, I'm on.
Opure, you're going to give us a closing prayer. I mean, Mr. Maluma after Mr. Opure. Yes,
Okay,
Opure, what's
please.
your question?
You can try to unmute.
Okay, I think I can be heard now.
Yes.
Yes, my other question is this issue of Windows. Do you guys have a lecture how we can maybe renew the Windows? Because if I'm like in the village, I have to move like up from Bali. That's when the Windows can be installed. And these guys who install the Windows are really expensive. They can tell you 100,000, 70,000. Is there a way a teacher can still maneuver how to, you know, keep his device or her device in a working condition? Because when the Windows get worn out, that one, your laptop, your PC becomes a standstill and you can't move. Thank you.
All right, members, let's humble ourselves for a prayer. Heavenly loving Father.
Let me first respond to that. Rogers, you're responding?
Let me just respond to him and then you can say. Yeah. Which one of the we need to be having share these problems and then you solve. Yeah, but you are going to give some tutorial about that, or about what you have asked, the issue of Windows. We are going to send some guide. But you can get in touch with us. The Itau, we are always here. We have technical people who are always there to support you. So you can get in touch with us. We can send you some software. Download. Yeah, you and also other teachers. And we'll make sure that we can move on. So just get in touch with us and then we can be able to get support. Okay. You go ahead, I think, and pray. Yeah, overshot.
All right, let's humble ourselves for a prayer. Heavenly loving Father, we thank you for the gift of life you have accorded to us. We thank you for loving us. Who are we to have this kind of training? Lord, glory and praise comes back to you. We are so grateful for the knowledge and the skills that we have acquired from our great teachers. And we pray that you give us the courage to keep on offering the same skills to our friends and helping our learners together with their parents. As we get off from this session, Lord, may your Holy Spirit always be with us to guide us in each and everything we do, protect us, and cover us with the precious blood of your Son, Jesus Christ. Heavenly loving, as we are left with one session in the evening, bless those ones who are going to take us through in Jesus'
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Bye.
All right, thank you all for joining in.
Goodbye.
We'll meet again at 5.
Okay, please.
The presentations are going to be uploaded to the Google Classroom. Bye. Rogers, are you saying something?